Hi, I'd like to do some improvisation in a major key. Last lesson we did E minor, this time we're going to do C major. Started with C major as it's the first major key and it has no sharps or flats, so it's more simple to get your head round. Anyway, enjoy. Right, today I'm going to explain about playing the key of C. Now, the first note on your third fret on your A, which is this note here, where the dot is, if you can see where my third finger is on, that is the note C. Or you can also play it on the 8th fret on the E. They are both the same note, they're just in different places on the different strings. Now, playing in the major key is different to a minor. There's a few little rules you have to remember, but don't be worried if it gets too complicated. I'll break it down to as much as I can for you. So with the major scale, you have to remember you raise the third instead of flattening the third. So you have, starting on the tonic note, which in this case is C, which is your third. We're starting on the third fret on your A. So we've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and you end up on the first fret on the B, which is your C. So that is your full first up. We won't worry about trying to go too far around the neck so far, otherwise it's going to get super confusing for you guys. Right, now what you have to remember with the major scale is that the whole has a system. Now if you remember from my video before when we were talking about tones and semitones, semitones is basically like one step. So from first fret to second fret is a semitone. From first fret to third fret is what we call a tone. And it's a case of just remembering all the little bits and just remembering what notes go to where. So we've got C to D is a tone. D to E is another tone. Now this is where the trick we need to remember there's no E sharp, so E to F is a semitone. Then from F to G, that's a tone. G to A, that's another tone. A to B is another tone, and then from B to C, that's your semitone. So you got tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And it's a case of just remembering that obviously if we were playing a C minor, you would have to change the third, which normally would be in a C major is E. Now a C minor would be C, D, D sharp or E flat. A little bit what happens when Live and Let Die, but in a different key. So C major. You just have to remember that you can use all these notes as long as you don't add any accidentals at this point. So no C sharps, no D sharps, no F sharps, because they simply won't sound right. When you're in the key of C, it's what we call the neutral key, or I call it the neutral key. Basically means that there are no added on extras. For an example, G major has one sharp, which is the 7th of the scale. So in the C major scale, the 7th of the scale would be B, but because you can't sharpen B, it just stays at B. I could go into it a bit more complicated, but it will just confuse the whole issue and lose the point of this video. So you need to remember that the notes you can use: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then just reverse it. And then obviously the arpeggio of that would be C, E, G. And that is your basis of the first sort of improvisation. Right, if you've got your head around that, you can actually on the guitar extend the scale just slightly, so you're ending up finishing on the G, on the top E or the lowest string down here. So you're going, obviously starting on the C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, then D, E, F, G, which basically means that you are finishing on the fifth note of the scale at the top. Now this happens a lot in guitar because obviously you got the extended range of having the 6 strings and where it's starting. Now you could also obviously jump up to the A, B and then C, which will then bring you up to that 8th position or 8th fret that we spoke about, which are both on the same place. Now if you feel that you know the guitar a little bit better, there's another place you can play C major. Now of course, don't worry if you can't get your head around it, you know, just watch the video slowly, and I'll try, if you're still struggling, I'll try and explain a different way, maybe private message or something. So C major in what we call the 7th position, because your first finger starts on the 7th fret, you start on your second finger on the C, which is on the 8th fret. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, E, F, C. And basically what you need to remember is the pattern is slightly different when you get to the B. So you've got 8, 10, 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 8, 8, 10, 7, 8. And that is a full 2-octave C major scale, which is quite cool because you're all in the same position. You're not having to jump down to here, you know. You notice those are exactly the same notes. It depends on where you want your sound, how sound you want your solo. But for today, we are just basically dealing with the first 3 frets. And then we can go into the more nitty-gritty about adding extra notes in a later video. I hope you find that useful. Take care. Cheers. I really hope you enjoyed that video on major keys. I'm playing in C major. Any questions, please leave some comments down below. Please, I'd like you to subscribe to my channel. It is slowly but growing, and I really appreciate all the shares, all the likes and all the comments. Cheers.